You're eating dinner alone in a quiet kitchen. Just an ordinary bite of food. Nothing seems wrong. But then, it gets stuck in your throat. You try to cough. No air comes in. You try again, still unable to breathe. Your chest tightens. Your heart starts racing. Instinctively, you grab your throat, and that's when you realize the most terrifying part. No sound is coming out at all. Your phone is on the other side of the kitchen. No one is nearby. And within seconds, without oxygen, your body begins to panic. Many people think choking is rare, but in reality, adults over 60 face a much higher risk of dying from choking because swallowing muscles weaken with age, the cough reflex becomes slower, and many medications can dry out the throat. The important thing is this: if you know what to do, you may still be able to save yourself even when you are completely alone. After the age of 60, the body begins to change in ways many people don't notice right away. The muscles involved in swallowing gradually become weaker. The cough reflex is no longer as strong as it once was. Saliva production decreases, making food harder to swallow, especially dry foods like meat, bread, or large pills. Certain common conditions in older adults, such as Parkinson's disease, stroke, diabetes, or acid reflux, can also increase the risk of choking. In addition, many medications used for high blood pressure, allergies, or insomnia may cause dry mouth, making swallowing even more difficult. What makes choking especially dangerous is how quickly and silently it can happen. When the airway becomes completely blocked, many people are unable to call for help or make any sound at all. But emergency experts say this during the first critical seconds, the body may still have a chance to survive if you know exactly what to do immediately. In today's video, we're going to walk through 7 critical steps that could help you survive choking when you are alone. These steps are arranged from the simplest to the most forceful techniques based on emergency first aid guidelines and medically proven principles. Some of these methods are rarely talked about, yet they may create enough pressure to force the object out of the airway during the most dangerous moments. You do not need to memorize every detail immediately. Just remember the order of the steps and understand what you should do first when panic begins to take over. Now, let's begin with the very first step, and the most important one. The moment you realize you cannot breathe, the body's natural reaction is panic. Your heart starts racing, your muscles tense up. You may feel the urge to run for help or gasp desperately for air. But during a choking emergency, panic often makes the situation far more dangerous. Emergency doctors explain that when the body enters a state of extreme fear, the brain activates the fight or flight response. Stress hormones surge, causing the muscles in the throat and chest to tighten. This can make the object become lodged even more firmly in the airway. Many people also instinctively try to inhale as hard as possible. But if food is already trapped in the windpipe, that strong suction can sometimes pull the object even deeper. That is why the very first thing you must do is stop all panicked movement. Do not run. Do not wave your arms in panic. Do not try to swallow the food again. Stand still or hold onto a table or chair to keep your body stable. Then quietly repeat a short phrase to yourself such as, "I still have time," or "I know what to do." It may sound simple, but emergency psychology experts say that short mental reminders like these can help the brain regain control more quickly during a life-threatening situation. The next thing to remember is this: if you can still cough, make wheezing sounds, or feel even a small amount of air moving through your throat, your airway is not completely blocked. And that is a very important sign. Do not lose hope too quickly. During the first few seconds, your body is still trying to protect you. Staying calm also helps conserve the oxygen that remains in your lungs. The more you panic, the faster your body burns through oxygen, and the more quickly you become exhausted. Some first aid experts even recommend that people who live alone mentally rehearse emergency situations ahead of time, similar to how firefighters or pilots train their reactions for emergencies. Not to create fear, but to prevent the brain from freezing when a real crisis happens. The most important thing to understand right now is this: you still have time to act. And once you regain even a few seconds of calm, the next step is to call for help as quickly as possible. If you find this information helpful, please like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more important knowledge that could help protect you and your family. Once you manage to stay calm for a few seconds, the very next thing you should do is call emergency services immediately. Many people skip this step because they think, if I can't speak, calling won't help anyway. But that is a very dangerous mistake. Modern emergency dispatch centers are trained to handle silent calls. If operators hear gasping, coughing, struggling sounds, or even just an open line followed by unusual silence, they may still treat it as a medical emergency. If you are using a mobile phone, modern location systems can often help emergency responders identify your approximate location, even if you are unable to say your address in time. So, if your phone is nearby immediately, call emergency services, turn on speakerphone if possible, and leave the call connected. After that, you can continue trying to save yourself while medical help is on the way. If you live alone, experts strongly recommend always keeping your phone within reach while eating. Do not leave it in the bedroom, place it too far away on a kitchen shelf, or charge it in another room. Many choking deaths happen simply because the victim could not reach a phone in time. If you have an SOS watch, a medical alert necklace, or an emergency call device for seniors, press the button immediately. These devices are specifically designed for situations like this. Besides calling emergency services, you should also try to create loud noises if neighbors or family members may be nearby. You can bang hard on a wall, knock repeatedly on the floor, or use a heavy object to create loud noise. In many cases, unusual sounds may alert neighbors or nearby family members to come check on you. One very important thing to remember is this: calling for help and trying to save yourself are not separate choices. You must do both at the same time. Even if you believe you can handle the situation yourself, you should still call emergency services first. If the object does not come out quickly every second without oxygen, becomes extremely dangerous for the brain and the heart. After calling for help or creating a distress signal, the next step is to position your body correctly so gravity can help force the object out of your airway. After calling for help, the next thing you need to do is quickly position your body correctly. This is far more important than most people realize. When choking happens, many people instinctively lean backward or collapse into a chair because of the panic and the feeling of not being able to breathe. But that position can cause the object to slide even deeper into the airway. Instead, try to stand up if you still have enough strength. Then, lean slightly forward. Keep your head pointed downward. Relax your shoulders and stabilize your body. This position allows gravity to help pull the object back outward instead of letting it move deeper into the windpipe. Respiratory specialists explain that when the body leans forward, the angle of the airway changes in a way that may make it easier to expel the object, especially when combined with strong coughing or pressure-based techniques used afterward. If you are sitting and cannot stand up quickly, then move to the edge of the chair. Bend your body forward as much as possible. Keep your head lower than your chest and hold firmly onto a table or the chair arms to avoid falling. One very important thing to remember is this: do not lie down at this stage unless you are preparing to perform a stronger emergency technique later as a last resort. Lying flat too early may cause the object to block the airway even more completely and make it harder to generate an effective cough. Leaning forward also gives the lungs more room to create air pressure inside the chest. That will become extremely important in the next step, because now you need to turn your own breathing force into a life-saving tool. If you can still cough, wheeze, or move even a small amount of air through your throat, that means you still have a very strong chance of forcing the object out on your own. And right now you need to cough the correct way and with enough force to take advantage of that opportunity. If you are still able to cough, make wheezing sounds, or feel even a small amount of air moving through your throat, that is a very important sign. It means your airway is not completely blocked. And in this situation, coughing is the body's strongest natural self-rescue mechanism. But the important thing is this: you must cough the right way. Many people panic and start coughing repeatedly with short, weak, rapid bursts from the upper chest. That kind of coughing usually does not create enough pressure to force the object out. Instead, it can quickly drain your energy and use up your remaining oxygen faster. Respiratory experts explain that a truly powerful cough must come from the diaphragm, the large muscle beneath the lungs that creates extremely strong air pressure inside the chest. Try to follow these steps. First, keep your body slightly bent forward, just like in the previous step. Then, try to breathe in the smallest amount of air possible through the remaining opening in your throat. Do not inhale forcefully, just take in enough air to get a little oxygen into your lungs. Next, hold that breath for about half a second. This very brief pause helps air pressure build up inside your chest. Then, use all the strength in your abdomen to cough outward as forcefully as you can. Imagine you are trying to blast that air directly at the object to force it out of your throat. Studies show that a strong cough can create a very powerful airflow inside the airway. If the object is not too tightly lodged, that pressure may sometimes be enough to push it out without needing another technique. After every 2 or 3 strong coughs, try to pause for about 1 second to regain a small amount of air before continuing. Do not cough uncontrollably until you completely exhaust yourself. What matters is not the number of coughs. What matters is the strength of each one. If you are standing, plant your feet firmly on the floor, tighten your abdominal muscles, lean forward, and put your full force into the cough. Leaning forward helps gravity assist the object in moving outward instead of falling deeper into the airway. During this time, do not try to drink water. Many people instinctively reach for water to wash the food down, but if the airway is blocked, water can make you choke even more severely and cause the situation to become dangerous very quickly. Also, do not try to stick your fingers into your throat unless you can clearly see the object. In a moment of panic, putting your hand into your mouth may accidentally push the food even deeper into the airway. Remember this: if you can still cough, make sounds, or move even a small amount of air, continue coughing as forcefully and as steadily as possible. But if you begin to lose the ability to make sound, turn blue or pale very quickly, or become completely unable to force air out, then the situation is becoming far more dangerous. And at that point, you need to move immediately to a stronger technique, using your own body weight to create pressure and force the object out. If you have tried coughing forcefully several times and the object still will not come out, you now need to move to a stronger pressure-based technique. This is one of the most important methods many first aid experts teach to people who live alone. Performing the Heimlich maneuver on yourself using a chair. It may sound frightening, but the principle behind this technique is actually very simple. The goal is to create a powerful upward force from below the diaphragm, pushing a burst of air violently through the airway, almost like a pressure explosion designed to force the object out. If there is a sturdy chair nearby, especially a dining chair or one with a hard backrest, quickly pull it toward you. Position the top edge of the chair back against your upper abdomen, above the belly button but below the rib cage. Do not place it too low on the lower abdomen, and do not press directly against the breastbone. Then, grip both sides of the chair, firmly lean your body slightly forward, and drive your full body weight forcefully onto the edge of the chair. The pressure must be fast and strong. You are not simply leaning against the chair. You are trying to create a sudden thrust against the diaphragm to blast air upward with maximum force from inside the lungs. First aid organizations, such as the American Red Cross, have taught this technique for choking emergencies when a person is alone because it can create an effect similar to the Heimlich maneuver performed by another person. When pressure against the abdomen suddenly increases, the diaphragm is pushed sharply upward. This rapidly compresses the lungs and forces air explosively through the airway. If the object is not lodged too tightly, that burst of air may be strong enough to force it out. You may need to repeat the movement several times in a row. You should thrust hard, pull back, then thrust again. Each thrust should be a sharp, forceful movement, not a slow press or a gentle lean against the chair. If you have abdominal pain, bone problems, or are older, do not worry too much about bruising. In this situation, generating enough force to reopen your airway is far more important. At the same time, try to keep your balance to avoid falling, especially if the floor is slippery or you are becoming dizzy from lack of oxygen. If the chair is too soft, too low, or not sturdy enough, look for the edge of a kitchen counter, the corner of a countertop, or another hard surface at the proper height. The most important thing is that the edge must be firm enough to create strong pressure against the upper abdomen. In many cases, the object may come out after just the first few thrusts. You may cough, violently spit out the food, or suddenly be able to breathe again. If that happens, try to stay calm and continue breathing slowly. But if the object still does not come out, almost no air is passing through, or you begin to weaken rapidly, then you need to move to the next technique immediately. And this time, instead of creating pressure from the front of the abdomen, you will use powerful impact against the back to create a different type of pressure wave inside the chest. If the chair-assisted abdominal thrusts still do not force the object out, do not stop. At this point, you need to try another way to create pressure inside the chest. Instead of forcing pressure upward from the front of the abdomen like the Heimlich maneuver, the next technique uses strong impact against the upper back to create powerful vibrations inside the airway. Many first aid experts now believe that combining different types of pressure may be more effective than relying on only one technique. Find the edge of a wall corner, or the solid edge of a door frame. Then stand with your back facing that hard surface. Your target is the area between the shoulder blades, the same area commonly used for back blows during choking first aid. Next, step slightly forward, then use your legs and body weight to drive yourself back. The impact must be sharp and deliberate. Do not simply lean back. This should be an intentional strike, designed to create strong vibrations inside the chest and airway. Resuscitation studies show that impacts to the upper back between the shoulder blades can create pressure waves different from abdominal thrusts. These vibrations may sometimes help loosen an object that is tightly stuck against the airway wall. That is why many modern first aid guidelines combine back blows and abdominal thrusts in alternating sequence. You can perform to about 5 strong impacts against the back, then switch back to a few abdominal thrusts using the chair and continue repeating the cycle if necessary. The constant change in pressure direction may sometimes help move the object when a single technique is not enough. While doing this, try to keep your head slightly bent forward if possible. This helps gravity assist the object in moving outward instead of deeper into the airway. If you begin to cough forcefully, feel more air passing through, or spit out pieces of food, pause for a few seconds to breathe slowly and regain control. But if nothing improves, your body starts weakening rapidly, your arms and legs lose strength, or your vision begins to fade from lack of oxygen, then it is time to use the most powerful technique available. This method uses your own body weight and falling force to create extremely strong pressure against the diaphragm. And for many people who live alone, this may be the final step that helps reopen the airway before losing consciousness. If you have tried every previous method and still cannot breathe, you now need to use the most powerful technique. Many emergency experts consider this the final but critically important option for someone choking while alone. This method uses your own body weight to create extremely strong pressure against the diaphragm in an attempt to force the object out of the airway. The very first thing you should do is get down onto the floor immediately. Do not try to remain standing. If you are feeling dizzy, losing strength rapidly, or barely able to breathe anymore, lack of oxygen can cause you to lose consciousness very quickly. And if you suddenly collapse while standing, the risk of serious injury becomes even more dangerous. Once on the floor, kneel down. Next, clench one hand into a fist. Place the thumb side of the fist against your upper abdomen, above the belly button and below the rib cage. Then use your other hand to firmly grasp that fist. Now comes the most important part. Force your entire upper body sharply forward so your abdomen presses hard against your fist or another solid surface beneath you. The goal is to create a sudden, extremely powerful thrust against the diaphragm, similar to the Heimlich maneuver, but using your own body weight to increase the force. Some people may do this by kneeling and dropping their body quickly toward the floor, or forcefully driving the abdomen against a low, hard edge such as a sturdy table corner or solid armrest. What matters most is that the force must be strong and decisive. When the diaphragm is compressed forcefully from below, the lungs are rapidly squeezed, creating a high-pressure burst of air that shoots upward through the airway. That is the force you are trying to use to push the object out. Research on choking first aid shows that bodyweight-assisted thrusts may create significantly stronger pressure than using only arm strength or abdominal muscles alone, especially in older adults whose muscle strength has declined. You may need to repeat the movement several times in a row. Forcefully thrust downward, lift yourself back up, then drive your body down again. Do not perform the movement too slowly. Each thrust should be quick, powerful, and decisive. If you begin coughing, use those coughs immediately to help force the object out. During this process, you may experience abdominal pain, bruising, or extreme exhaustion. But in a severe oxygen deprivation emergency, the most important goal is to reopen the airway as quickly as possible. Many people stop after the first few attempts because panic makes them believe the technique is not working. But in reality, pressure inside the airway often builds gradually after repeated thrusts. In some cases, the object comes out only after multiple final attempts. So if you are still conscious, keep going. Do not give up too early. If the object comes out, try to breathe slowly. Cough lightly to help clear your throat, and still seek medical evaluation afterward. If you continue to have chest pain, shortness of breath, or persistent coughing, even if you feel better, the airway may still have been injured or small pieces of food could remain inside. The most important thing to remember after today's video is this: choking, while alone, does not always mean there is no hope. In many cases, the first few critical seconds are what determine survival. And if you know what to do, stay calm and act quickly enough, the body may still have a chance to save itself. When choking happens while you are alone, the greatest danger is not just the lack of oxygen. It is panic. Many people lose the chance to save themselves simply because they do not know what to do during the first critical seconds. But after today's video, you now have a clear plan. Remember these 7 essential steps. Stay calm and stop the panic. Call emergency services immediately. Lean your body forward. Cough the right way with force. Use a chair for self-administered abdominal thrusts. Create strong impact against the upper back. And if necessary, use the self-Heimlich technique on the floor. You do not need to remember every word perfectly. What matters is that if a real emergency happens, your brain still remembers this. There is a way to save myself. First aid experts consistently emphasize that in many choking emergencies, the first few critical seconds are what determine survival. So please share this video with your parents, your grandparents, older loved ones in your family, or anyone who lives alone. The right information at the right moment can save a life. And before we end today's video, I truly want to ask you something. If this situation happened today, do you think you would stay calm enough to remember and perform these steps? Be honest in the comments and answer with, "I'm ready," or "I need to watch this again." If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe so you do not miss more important health information for older adults in future videos.